guys, it's Wolfsfor100, and I'm making this video because a year ago I went through maybe what you're going through right now. And I was frantically searching YouTube and trying to figure out how this whole process was going to work, and I was very scared and very nervous, and that's my kitty cat meowing. And I just didn't know. I wanted personal experience. I knew the kind of things that was going to happen medically, but I wanted the personal day-to-day. So that's what I'm here for you guys. And so let's get started. So last October, I took my dog Panda in for his regular shots. And I won't have him here in this video because he is currently eating. But I have some videos on my YouTube channel of him, so you can go check him out. So last October, I took him in to get his shots, you know, just the regular checkup yearly thing. And I had been giving him the Trifexis Heartworm pills. He had gotten them every single month. He hadn't missed a dose since he could start it, which was at 8 weeks old. So he never missed a dose of the Trifexis. So they did the normal stuff. They took the blood, etc. And about 3 or 4 days later, we got the call that his heartworm test had come up positive. And I will just say, when you first get that news, you're probably thinking your dog is doomed, and that is not the case, especially if it's caught early. Panda was diagnosed with stage 1 heartworm disease, which is the best possible. There's 4 different stages. Stage 1 is very light. So he was diagnosed with stage 1 heartworm disease. And so we decided that we were going to start the treatment that following month. We were going to wait a little bit because we couldn't... Can I help you? We were going to wait a little bit. We were going to wait a couple weeks. This is my kitty cat. She doesn't want to leave me alone. We were going to wait a couple weeks. And then we were going to start treatment. So I would say those first couple weeks, I was definitely frantically searching the internet to figure out what was going to happen to my dog, and that might be doing what you're doing right now. So I don't want to make this video too long-winded, so I'm just going to jump right into it. The first day, or for the first month of treatment, all it was him taking minocycline, I believe, for, minocycline for a month. So it was 2 pills a day. And what this was going to do was it was going to start killing off the bacteria or something that makes the heartworm able to spread. It was going to start slowly killing the heartworms. Not completely, but it was going to start. And so as soon as we started this process, he was going to have to be inside and very low-key, very non-active for the remainder of the treatment. So I started the pills, and the vet just said, you know, call if there's any trouble. Just give these 2 pills twice a day for 30 days. And, 1 pill twice a day for 30 days, and then we're going to start with the aminicide. So we started the pills, and for the first week or so, everything was okay. He got a little lethargic, but that in my mind was okay because he couldn't be active, so if these pills decided to make him tired, that was going to be okay. So, after about a week though, every single time I would give him his dose, he would start throwing up, and then, so he called the vet, and they said, you know, what these pills can do is they can give him nausea. So they got him on an anti-nausea med. And the anti-nausea med, in turn, started taking away some of his appetite, but not to the point where he wouldn't eat. He was still eating most of his meals. So the vet just said, monitor him, keep giving him these pills. So for the first month, if your treatment plan goes the same as mine, we're going to give your dog the minocycline for 30 days. Then it's really not too bad. The only side effect I ever occurred from that was the nausea, and after he started on those anti-nausea pills, it was okay. So the hardest thing was just keeping him not very active for that first month, and but you know, we started playing mind games. I would give him things to chew on, and I would just spend time petting him and calming him down. So for the first month, things are actually not too bad. I mean, it seems horrible having to give your dog a pill twice a day, but they get used to it pretty fast. He got used to it pretty fast, and everything went okay for the first month. So there's really not too much to worry about. So after that first month of the minocycline and the anti-nausea pills, it was time for him to get his first series of aminoside. And for this one, he was going to get one shot. He was going to stay at the vet for 24 hours, and then he was going to return home. And let me just tell you, I was a basket case. I was nervous as heck, and I had read all these horrible side effects, like, oh my gosh, aminoside, he's going to die. Don't psych yourself out, especially don't try to do it around your dog. Your dog will pick up on your emotion. So we took him to the vet for the aminoside. Basically, we got there at 7 in the morning, and they took him back into an exam room. They listened to his heart, and we had to sign the papers. And those papers are also scary because, you know, they're listing all these possible side effects. So basically what happened was we took him in at 7, we signed the papers, I gave him a kiss goodbye, and they took him back. And they said that we were able to call anytime, and I called twice that day, and the first time they had just given him the shot. They said he was in pain, but they were going to give him some pain medication. And so I kind of waited a couple hours, and I was like, I wonder if he's okay. Called again, and they said the pain meds had kicked in, he was fine, he was doing great. And so basically that's just the waiting game. It's a really hard game to play, but it is the waiting game. You have to trust your vet, know that your dog is in good hands, and wait. So after the 24 hours, we went ahead and we picked him up, and he was very low-key, very lethargic, very, you just could tell, you know, he was sore. And they shaved a little square on his rump where they gave him the shot. And so we took him home, and for the first 2 days, especially 2 nights, that night he was very, very lethargic. The first night, I would probably go as far as to say he was ill. He was laying around, he had no appetite whatsoever. He was still drinking water, so that was okay. The vet just said to watch him. He was whining. He was just, it was one of the most pitiful things I've ever seen. But, you know, like I said, we were in contact with our vet, and after 2 days, he was himself again. He was actually, you know, back to, okay, Panda, calm down. You cannot be hyper. You have to settle. So if your dog, every dog's going to react differently, but just telling you from my personal experience, that first series of aminoside, the first 2 days, he was very lethargic, no appetite, whining, just very wanting to be with me, which was totally okay. I spent a lot of hours just sitting with him, and then after 2 days, the rest of that month was just another try to keep him calm. He's feeling okay, he looks okay, just keeping him calm. And so after that month was time for the last and final set of aminoside, and this was going to be 2 shots over the course of 24 hours. So the plan was he was going to stay at the vet for 48 hours. He was going to stay for 2 days because he was going to get the 2 shots, and then he was going to go and stay just for monitoring. This was the hardest part, just being away from him for 2 days. I called frequently. I called about 5 times just to see how he was doing. They were always great. They were always willing to give me an update. You know, they actually had me talk to the tech that was taking care of him specifically. And so it was very comforting to be able to call, know how he's doing. So after he got these 2 sets of aminoside, again, they had shaved, except they shaved 2 spots now because they had to do it on both sides. And this one was probably the roughest part of the whole treatment. When he came home, he was very, very, very subdued, lethargic, ill for about five days, or maybe not like totally out of it for 5 days, but for the first 2 or 3 nights, he was pretty down the beaten path. Again, no appetite, but at this point I was kind of expecting it because he had, you know, he had been through this before, so it was a little less scary the second time, but again, nobody likes to see their dog like that. So he didn't have very much appetite, and he was just really wanting to be with me, which was perfectly fine. Like I said, I spent many hours sitting with him. And also, he was very, very, very sore in his hind end. I would pet him on his head, but I would not go any farther than the middle of his back because he was extremely sore on his back end. So for about 3 or 4 days, he was like that. The 5th day, he started getting a little better. And then again, the rest of the month was just keeping him calm. So overall, there was probably about a week to a week and a half worth of actual bad days where he was pretty pitiful and in pain. But over the course of 3 months, he was not in pain that whole time. He was not feeling bad that whole time. Maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks out of that, he was actually in pain and feeling bad. Now, we did hit a glitch soon before he was scheduled to go back to the vet, in which he caught kennel cough after that, somewhere between after that second round of aminicide and going back for his checkup afterwards. He did catch kennel cough, and this was just a wait and see. You know, there was nothing we could do about it. He had this really dry, raspy cough. And I panicked because that can actually be a sign that a worm clogs in their lungs. Again, Google makes everything sound horrible, okay? So I called the vet and I was like, oh my gosh, he's coughing. He's got this dry cough. Oh my gosh, is he okay? Like panicking. And they're like, okay, calm down, you know. And it just turned out to be kennel cough from him staying at the vet for 48 hours and the aminicide kind of suppressing his immune system. Which, it just kind of had to run its course. It ran its course in about a week, and he was fine. And when he had this cough, he was still active and energetic, and, you know, that's what they were like. He was like, is he breathing okay? Well, yeah. Is he energetic? Well, yeah, but, you know, I'm keeping him calm. Okay, calm down, he's not dying. So, again, Google can definitely make it up to sound a lot scarier than it is. So, keeping him calm was probably, you know, it was hard. It was hard to keep him calm. But you have to do it because if they run around, like, the worms can dislodge and clot. But you just kind of spend time, you pet them, you play little mind games. I got puzzles for him. I did very low-key activity things like chewing, puzzles, petting, massages, keeping him calm, keeping him separate from all the hubdo from the house. He had his own room with blankets. And just really keeping him out of all the crazy activities from day to day. And he was okay. So, that was basically like the personal experience, or a abbreviated version of how the treatment went. Now, we are at a year post-treatment. So, before I go to that, he went back to the vet after a month after the 2 shots of aminicide. And he was given the all clear. And so, he was on this treatment from the middle of October to the middle of January. That's how far of a time it was stretched across. But in the middle of January, he was finally given the all clear to go do whatever. And let me just say, I cried the first time I just let him off the leash, and he just ran. He was so happy. He was healthy. He was free of heartworms, and I just cried like a baby. But now we are at a year post that, or not quite a year because he was given the clear in January. But a year ago, we were about to start the treatment. And so now he is a happy little boy. He's free of heartworm. He goes on 2 walks a day. You know, he pulls a sulky. He does agility. He, currently training him for like dog dancing, freestyle. And he is totally 100% back to normal. So just remember, when your dog is diagnosed with heartworm, it is scary. And, of course, every case is not going to go like Panda's. We were very lucky. But it is not the end of the world. It's most likely, hi, kitty, gonna be okay. And just remember, Google really does make things out to sound a lot worse than they are. Trust your veterinarian. Can I help you? Pay close attention to your dog, but, you know, there is stuff out there. There's some good websites. There is a couple other videos on YouTube that you can watch. Personal experience with the heartworm treatment. So, I hope that this short-ish, longish, whatever video helped you. I gotta go because I cannot make videos longer than 15 minutes. Thank you so much for watching, and if your dog was diagnosed with heartworms, I am here for you. Your vet is there for you. You be there for your dog, and it'll all be alright. So, hopefully, you know, most of the time it'll all be alright. So, thank you so much for watching. Stay strong, and until next time, this is Wolfsboro 100 signing out.